Good evening. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me? Coach. Mic's not on. No mic. Hello. No mic. Need the mic. It's not on.
Being your host tonight, I'm Roy Reed, a proud graduate of 1983, and it's I believe Coach said, my 7th year being part of this, and it's always a great honor, and it's wonderful to see so many friends here tonight that I had the opportunity to both go to school with, and some of you I look to as a younger pioneer, and some of you I know came after me, so it's a great family to be a part of, and like I said, it's an honor to be here. So without further ado, I am going to invite a couple of folks up here right now. I'm going to invite Elizabeth Laughlin, who's going to step up here and sing the national anthem for us, but I also want to ask the honor guard from Oak Ridge High School to bring the colors forward, and as they do, I will ask you to please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's have another hand for Jennifer, another hand for Elizabeth, and for the color guard from Oak Ridge High School. You may be seated. To kick this evening off, I'm going to ask Jennifer Bellinger, who is the Minority Achievement Officer for Orange County Public Schools, to welcome you tonight.
Good evening, and I am so happy to be here. I'm a former principal at Oak Ridge High School from 2016 to 2021, and it's so good to be back face to face. I can reflect back on the last time we were here in 2019, and I can appreciate the time that I served at Oak Ridge High School as an assistant principal. And then when the opportunity came for me to serve as principal, I couldn't wait to apply. Because the one thing that I can appreciate about Oak Ridge High School, now I'm originally from Florida, graduated from West Orange High School. I don't have the luxury of saying I graduated from Oak Ridge High School, but there's a rich history that goes with Oak Ridge High School. I can appreciate serving the students as an assistant principal, and then as a principal, being able to look at the students, the athletics, the academics, and what we were able to achieve during my time there. I can appreciate all of the experiences. So tonight, I would like to welcome you. I know we are celebrating the athletics and the history of Oak Ridge High School athletics, but I would encourage you, those of you who know the rich history of Oak Ridge, to give back and to talk to the current students so they can understand the legacy of Oak Ridge High School and know that there's a rich history of Oak Ridge High School and those who have come before them so they can appreciate what Oak Ridge High School is all about. So I welcome you this evening, and I would like to appreciate the honorees that we are recognizing tonight. Congratulations on you being recognized this evening, and I want to celebrate each and every one of you. Oak Ridge High School is a special place, and I served as an assistant principal, and then I served as a principal, and I can appreciate each and every day walking into that school and knowing that each and every student that I encountered, they were special. And they were special because of what they bring to the school every day. Oak Ridge High School is a special place, and those of you who are here, you know that. So welcome and congratulations, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to invite, I'm going to invite Gabe Andrews to come up here to say our invocation this evening. A little background on Gabe. Gabe is a 1997 graduate of Oak Ridge. He was a 4-year letterman in track and was a recipient of the 1996 Dr. Robert Parsons Most Improved Performer Award. After graduation, Gabe attended Valencia before moving to Ashland University. He played semi-professional football from 2001 to 2011 and was a starting wide receiver for the 3-time national champions, the Orlando Rage. Ordained as a deacon in 2014 in the True Holiness Covenant of a Peace Assembly Church in Orlando, Gabe also holds the office of 2nd Vice President of Finance. Please welcome Gabe Andrews.
As I ask everyone to bow their heads. Dear God, we thank you for bringing us together to recognize the hard work and dedication of this year's award recipients. As we honor each name, help us to remember all the glory belongs to friends and family who came out to support and encourage these individuals. Without their love and support, this day would not be possible. As we observe many accomplishments of our honorees, we acknowledge that none of it would be possible without you. Help us always remember to do everything with a grateful heart and keep our focus on you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now I will ask you to enjoy the fellowship and your dinner, and we will be back after dinner to kick off the program. Thank you. evening again. I know some of you are still enjoying dessert, and certainly the fellowship of friends and family. I'd like to get your attention so we can move into the program section of our evening together. If I could get the hotel staff to turn the music down, that would be fantastic. Although it's kind of cool to have a soundtrack, right? Almost. So to begin this portion of our program, I'd like to take a moment and recognize all of the current members of the Oak Ridge High School Athletic Hall of Fame. If you are a member of the Oak Ridge High School Athletic Hall of Fame, would you please stand so we can recognize you for your accomplishments? Thank you. At this time, I'm going to invite our keynote speaker, Shirley Burton, to join me up here. Shirley is a 1980 graduate and a 2020 Hall of Fame inductee. She was a three-sport athlete in softball, track, and volleyball during her days at Oak Ridge. While still attending Oak Ridge, Shirley played alongside high school and collegiate teammate and fellow Hall of Fame member Lindy James for the Orlando Rebels fast pitch softball team. As a member of the Rebels, the 1981 National Championship team, Shirley was afforded an opportunity to play in the World Championships in Taiwan. Upon graduation, Shirley accepted a scholarship to the University of South Carolina, where she was a two-time All-American for the Gamecocks and led the Carolina to the College World Series in 1983. At the start of the year, Shirley accepted membership to the Hall of Fame Board of Directors. Shirley Burton.
Thank you. I don't know what I did, but Henry, you sat me next to the principal of Oak Ridge. I went elementary school, junior high school, without ever seeing the principal, and you sit me next to him tonight with a beer in my hand. Thank you. Anyway, as a keynote speaker, I'm supposed to honor somebody that did something for me at Oak Ridge, and I'd like to talk about Carl Dragonstein. He, with his gray hair and his gray mustache, we never really knew how old this man was, but he walked like he was ready to hurdle a track on the track field. He was tall as a basketball player, and he probably looked like a tennis player, but we never knew if Coach Carl Dragonstein ever played sports. I don't know. Hamburg, I don't know. Anyway, Carl Dragonstein coached softball, and he taught social studies, thank you. The man taught class without a book. And I don't know if y'all do this, we never went to school or class with a book in your hand for his class. He taught you how to read a newspaper if you were on a subway. He taught you, what's the Japanese restaurant that's set on the corner of Oak Ridge and Weingarten? Anybody know? we do a field trip over to this class of this restaurant, and he would teach you how to use chopsticks. And that was his class of teaching. Anyway, I'm so nervous. He told me that he would have these notes and then they would just go out the window. And Rob Montgomery, you're absolutely correct on this one. Free word, thank you. Anyway, Coach Dragonstein also coached softball at Oak Ridge. And I admire him for the fact that I really didn't play slow pitch. I was more of a fast pitch player. But Coach Dragonstein went out and coached with heart. He may not have understood the game or knew how to play the game, but the man was willing to go out for all of us girls. And some of y'all know that growing up in the 70s wasn't easy for a female athlete at all. We didn't have a lot of the stuff that these kids have today. And I wish Coach Dragonstein was alive today to see what Title IX has done for the girls. And I'm not getting political, I promise you, but thanks to Title IX, and all you women know, thanks to Title IX, we are able to play and go out and play the sports that we love today. And that's why I think Coach Dragonstein, sorry, I apologize, I'm nervous as I'll get out. Dragonstein just went out and coached with, I mean, he even put cleats on. I don't know if y'all know this. He put cleats on, and I thought he was one of his players when he went out there. And I really admire the guy. And Pam, thank you. You had 3 coaches, 3 female coaches at Oak Ridge. And they couldn't coach every sport that there was. But Linda and Pam Burke both went out there and gave it their heart and soul for us to be able to put a uniform on. And I just thank you for that.
Let's give another hand to Shirley Burton. Thank you so much for that. You know, one of the benefits of being the host is that sometimes you can tell a fun story. And Coach Pam Burke is here, and I don't know if Pam, if you remember, you were my PE teacher at one point during my career at Oak Ridge, and Pam gave me the best advice I think I've ever heard in my entire life. We used to have to walk from Oak Ridge to the YMCA for different things. Y'all remember this, right? And Pam looked at everyone in the class and she said to them, I want to tell you now, it's important that you follow me, stay on the path, because cars do not crumple when they slam into human beings. And I never forgot that, and I'm here today. Thank you, Pam, for keeping me safe. With that, I'm going to invite Elizabeth Laughlin to join me again up here on stage. And Elizabeth is going to hand out the Reese Laughlin Scholar Award for us tonight. Let's give Elizabeth a big hand, both for this and for the national anthem. Thank you. And while she's on her way up, I'm going to invite Samantha Charles to also make her way to the stage. The Oak Ridge, thank you. The Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame is honored to announce that Samantha Charles, as the 2022 recipient of the Reese Laughlin Scholar Athlete Award. She is the most highly decorated weightlifting athlete in Pioneer history. Samantha, she's a 4-year letterman and carries a weighted GPA of 4.23. Thank you. Giving true meaning to the term student athlete. A member of the National Honor Society, Samantha ranks 26th out of 520, placing her in the top 10% graduated class. Active in the Horizon Scholars Program, Samantha serves as a mentor in Valencia's Take Stock livestock and children's program, working to increase post-secondary educational opportunities for today's youth, and named All Metro Conference 3 times, along with being 2-time All-State performer. Samantha has won 3 Metro championships, 3 district championships, 2 regional championships, all in the unlimited class. A 3-time state meet qualifier, Samantha has captured the bronze medal both as a junior and again as a senior. Upon graduation, Samantha will attend Florida State University. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to invite Coach John Himmer to join me on stage. And if not for Coach Himmer, we wouldn't be here tonight. So let's give Coach a big hand.
You know you're in trouble. Yeah, I hope you're a fistful of papers. Caesar made me do it. I'm under strict orders. I gotta get this right. Caesar is a man, he's engine training, believe it. He needs all around the applause, for sure. He's the man. The Hall of Fame is grateful to turn out tonight. As you know, we've been on the back burner for 2 years, no events, and we're almost there. We're halfway home. This was normally our Hall of Fame alumni weekend. We would have had our school assembly today, then tonight the banquet. Tomorrow night would have been alumni Hall of Fame reunion. We've lost that due to a venue problem. And then a month from now, we will have our golf tournament, and that is on to go. And in the back of your program, there was a flyer, and our golf tournament is what provides us funding to do what we do. And when Roy talked about our scholar athlete, that award also carries a $1,000 scholarship. So Samantha made it $1,000. We're going to do a Michael J. Fox here for a few minutes, and we're going to go back to the future. And we need to go back to 2020 because we did have an induction class in 2020 as we did in 2021. All right, Caesar, showtime. He went. Technology is wonderful. All right, this is our class in 2020. Some of you may recognize, some of you might not. You just met Shirley Burton. Next is Vanessa Castellusi. Vanessa's sister, Maria, was already in the Hall of Fame. Vanessa was inducted posthumously. One story on Vanessa. In 1983, she was a 10th grader at Oak Ridge High School, and she was our best golfer, but there was no girls' golf team. She played with the guys. She won the district, the individual title that took her to the state championship as a 10th grader. Went on to a great career at FSU and also as a professional, just like her sister. The next gentleman depends when you went to Oak Ridge. If you were at Oak Ridge in the late 70s to the early 80s, that was Coach Stamron. If you came to Oak Ridge, from 1991 to 2002, that was Mr. Stamron, the principal of Oak Ridge High School. Next is Ed Vanello, played on our 70 teams. All-State, went on to Eastern Kentucky University. His last game is his senior year in college at playing for Eastern Kentucky. They won the national championship in the Citrus Bowl. Next to him is, I got you. Next to him is Elias Gonzalez, one of our most decorated track and cross-country athletes. It's actually Major Gonzalez, and he's now stationed in the state of Washington. Okay, now we're out of alphabet here. This is Stephanie Lennon, now approaching her 35th year at Oak Ridge High School, an athletic trainer since 1985. She's probably put her hands on more athletes than anybody else, and it's all legal. But she's been super for the Hall of Fame. The next individual is Reggie Presley. And in honor of Reggie, if you look at the shoes that Rob Montgomery's wearing tonight, Reggie was a fashion statement of Oak Ridge High School, one of the all-time great sprint athletes that's come our way out of Memorial Junior High. Next is R.C. Lee, played on the teams in 69 and 70. I'll mention a little bit more about R.C. He was supposed to be here tonight. He was injured at work today. The next individual is the man that put Oak Ridge on the national and international track stage, Cyril Wyatt. At the age of 15, he set the world record for a 15-year-old in 100 meters at 10.3 at the Florida Relays as a junior. He was the first athlete ever to make a U.S. junior team, ran 5 races, 3 relay races, 2 100 meters in Helsinki, Belgium, and in Berlin. And when he got off the plane in Orlando, he had 5 gold medals. 2-time All-American. The last individual is Molly Wynn, a 1991 graduate. Great volleyball athlete for us. Her biggest claim to fame are her 2 daughters, Kennedy and Soma. They are both winners of the Reese Laughlin Scholar Athlete Award the past 2 years. That's our class of 2020. There were 2 other individuals that we were going to talk about at the 2020 banquet. Coach Gina Mcfearing is one. She was at Oak Ridge for 18 years. We held the banquet in 2019 on this corresponding date, the last Friday. 3 weeks later, she led Freedom High School to the boys volleyball state championship. 2 months later, she was voted USA Volleyball National Coach of the Year. What she gives Oak Ridge is the 4th member of the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame, 4 National Coaches of the Year. One was a student, 1974 graduate named Kevin Greeny, who went into the Hall of Fame in 2014. Went on to Georgia, was an All-American, went to Marist High School as the head swimming coach, won something like 5 state championships, was National Coach of the Year twice in swimming, and he's in our Hall of Fame. And of course we have Coach Stamper, who's Girls National Track Coach of the Year. You all know who the other guy is. I got the mic. shortly before the banquet of what we would have been 2020. Donnie Bailey, we'll talk about his brother momentarily, but Donnie Bailey was our school record, is our school record holder, high school All-American, great career at FSU. He was voted into the Florida Track and Field Hall of Fame. The thing that makes this unique is that Hall of Fame began in 1975. Oak Ridge High School has 11 athletes in the state of Florida Track and Field Hall of Fame, double any high school in the state of Florida. Now, several of those athletes are here, and we're going to talk about them shortly, but one that went in 2018 is Lavera Morris. Lavera is here tonight, and Lavera has taken on the job of coaching both the boys and girls track team, and this is her first year. And she tried to bribe me because she's going to have a fundraiser with this shirt, and this is the shirt she gave me immediately. Sorry, Lavera, you're not getting up on the stage with that. Lavera, please stand up. Let everybody see our new track coach at Oak Ridge High School. There you go. 2004 All-American at Oak Ridge, All-American at Kentucky, coach on NC2A national championship teams both in Texas and at Georgia. So, when are we going to win the state title again? Good luck. Hey, all right. 2020 was the 50th anniversary of the 1970 football team. You're looking at the first ever Pioneer Metro District Championship team. Here they are. And R.C. Lee, who's going to be here tonight along with Carl Comstock. One note. Carl Comstock, if you look at him, he's 6 foot, 185 pounds, a two-way starter, center linebacker, all state. They called him the tackler machine. I mean, today he couldn't get close to that offensive line. Two-way starter on a team that went 9-1 on a regular season. The other individual that went into the Hall of Fame is R.C. Lee. You've been watching the NFL draft and all these speed rushers and end rushers. This is the guy that made it happen. Two-time Metro Conference Player of the Year. Both years he was Defensive Lineman of the Week, and he was a 2020 inductee. One other note. In the 1970, hold that. The 1970 team, in their regular season, hey, where's that microphone? In the 1970 season, the team went 9-1. That's losing their starting quarterback in the first game of the year. They took an all-Metro linebacker named Jerry Stumpy Starcher and moved him to quarterback. In 9 games that they won in the regular season, they had 2 shutouts, and on the other 7 games, they gave up 7 or less points. Think about that. Their total point, 6.6 points in 10 games in the regular season. The only game they lost in the regular season was to Bishop Moore, who went on to become state champions. In the first round of the playoffs, they played Fort Pierce Central. They went on to win the state title. So they lost 2 games in 1970. If you weren't state champions, you didn't beat this team. And in 2019, we had 23 members of the 69 team, and we probably would have about the same number of in this 1970. So we really feel bad that this team that set the standard for Oak Ridge football didn't get a chance to come and be honored on their 50th anniversary. Now we get to, there we go. 1980 marked the 40th anniversary of the 1980 Boys Track Championship team. It was also the third state title for Oak Ridge. So those guys out there that dropped the baton in the 1974 state meet, this is the way it's done, right here. This photo is iconic. That's Mike Newton to Reggie Presley under the gun with the state title on the line. When they went to the starting line, we were tied with Reball, and Lake Worth was a couple points behind. We had to beat Reball and score at least 6 points. They set the school record. They made All-American, and Newton is in the Hall of Fame along with Presley. That was a 47 third leg, handing off to Reggie, who just, he slowed down, I think ran 47.8 on the anchor. And that's the team right there. James Roll, Sam Crawford, Mike Newton, Reggie Presley, and the brains of the outfit right there. One other note on Reggie Presley. Not only did he set fashion statements, Reggie is the only athlete in the history of Orlando, the Metro Conference, ever to win the 100, the 200, the 400 in the same conference meet. Done one time in the history, and the Metro started in 1963. We're moving to the class of 2021. Some of these people may look familiar, and then might not. Our first person up is Maria Anderson, 1985 track athlete, outstanding hurdler here at Oak Ridge High School. Next is Colonel, full bull Colonel on active duty right now in Massachusetts, Justin Collins, football player, baseball player, Air Force Academy grad. Mr. Jim Kaufman, many of y'all had him for driver's education. He was my boss. The wagon used to be out in front of the principal's office. He's the man. He built it, refurbished it. Right now, it's no axles, no wheels. It needs some TLC. We're going to get Tom Bout to refurbish it. Next individual is Lee Lauterbach, one of 5 brothers to play at Oak Ridge High School, set the state record in 1968, longest field goal at 43 yards back then. High school kids are kicking them 50, but this is 1968, 43 yards. Went on to play baseball at LSU. Next is a gal who's also here tonight to be honored with the track team. That's Donovan Carlson, school record holder in the 800. And we'll mention the name again momentarily. Man on the bottom is Heinrich Bam Murray, the defensive back. Now you understand why he has the name Bam, because when he hit you, it was bam. Took me 2 years to talk him to come out for track. 10, 5, 100 meters. He's 5th in our all-time list. Qualified for the 1988 Olympic team, Olympic trials in the 100 meters while in junior college. Owns a business here in Orlando. Next individual is Shawn Newton, outstanding basketball player in the 90s, graduated early 2000, right, Cedric? Now lives in North Carolina. Next to him, the first grade soccer player to come out of Oak Ridge High School in the mid-70s, led the team to their best records, went on to All-American career at UCF. His high school coach is here tonight, Keith Davis, but Paul Newsom was 20, and he's here tonight, 2021. Paul, let him see who we are. The next athlete is Pete Satiro, one of the all-time great defensive linemen. Over the years, we sent 5 players to the firm. He was the first to go, all-state middle guard. He was on the undefeated 74 team. And Pete was in inducted posthumously. The next individual, you're going to see him in his bathing suit. That's Kurt Wickheiser. That's his senior picture. Kurt went on to become an All-American swimmer at Appalachian State, came back to Oak Ridge, coached football on the JV team in 80 and 81, then went out Edgewater, Dr. Phil, one of the outstanding weightlifting coaches, was the first weightlifting coach to have the girls Metro Conference champion. Inducted into the Metro Conference Hall of Fame in 2005. He was inducted posthumously in 2021. That's your class in 2021. We talked about Kurt Wickheiser in 1971. This is the 50th anniversary last year of the first ever Metro Conference swim team with Coach Dragstead at the helm. And that little skinny guy all the way over on the right at the bottom, that's Kurt Wickheiser as a 10th grader. 2021 marked the 40th anniversary of the first ever Metro Conference Boys Basketball Championship team. And the person not there is the man who went into the Hall of Fame in 2020. The coach of that team was Dick Damron. And that started the legacy of now Oak Ridge becoming one of the most powerful schools in the state in basketball. It all started in 1981. Last year marked the 40th anniversary of the first ever girls state track championship team, and here we are. This is the team. Many of the girls here are here tonight as members of the 82 team, and some were here on this team in 83. But this got it started. Coach Stamper, over the years, 9 state girls track championship teams. On his 1981 team, Michelle Finn, Janet Levy, Donna McTorsney, Deborah Spear, and Margaret Thurman, All-Americans that year. The 1981 boys team, their 4th title, back-to-back for the 2nd time after 77 and 78. It also marked the first time in Florida state history that the same high school won both the boys and girls title the same night at Showalter Field. The 1981 All-Americans were Mark Blair. He's here tonight. Show him. Stand up, Mark. Get there. There you go. Ken Hall. All-American. He'll be up in a moment. Reggie Presley. Kelvin Reese. James Roll. One of the inductees you'll meet in a little bit, Vincent Smith, and David Spann. And the end of the school year last year, you heard Ms. Bellinger speak a few minutes ago. She was voted the honor of Orange County Principal of the Year. Then the county stole and took it down to the main office downtown. We loved Ms. Bellinger last year after being named Orange County Principal of the Year. All right, 2022. Man, it's good to be here. Now we can get started. Your book has basically everything we need to say about 2022. It's the 40th anniversary of the 1982 Girls State Championship team. And with us tonight, off that team, we have Michelle Finn, sprinter, Hall of Fame at Oak Ridge in 2013, 2-time All-American. Michelle, stand up, let the people see you. Yes, yes. Andrea Hunter, sprinter, hurdler, Hall of Fame, Oak Ridge Hall of Fame in 2013, All-American, 82. Now, I gotta say something special about Andrea because she keeps me out of trouble. Andrea is world-class masters track athlete. She has world records in the sprints, the hurdles, American records. She even throws the shot. But she is a stud. I won't tell my age group though, okay? Seriously, folks, she's getting it done. All Metro hurdler, scored in both events in the state meet, Shirley Law. Sherry? Sherry went on to St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, opening up a pipeline to that school for several other Oak Ridge athletes, and ran for one of the all-time great coaches, George Williams. George says hello. Janet Levy, Guatemala, Oak Ridge Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, two-time All-American, 82, 83. Now, Coach Stamper made me do this. He wants, Michelle, you need to stand up. Andrea, please stand up. Janet, please stand up. These three ladies, after making Coach Stamper look good, although I got the credit, right, girl? Went on to FSU. In 1987, the three with a gal named Janet Davis out of Mississippi went to the NC2A championship in Baton Rouge at LSU, ranked #1 in the nation. But to go to the NC2A meet, you have to meet a qualifying standard. Well, only 9 teams met that standard. 9-lane track, fine. But at NC2A level, the first time you run the event is they draw by lot. So the fastest team in the state, when that guy from LSU drew the lot, put them in lane 9. A little shaky, right? Out of lane 9, the NC2A gold medalist and record holders in the 4x1. We have 3 of them right there. Next is Hall of Fame member from 2020. We mentioned her, Donovan Carlson, the school record holder in the 800, all Metro Conference. Another Hall of Fame member in 2017, Wanda Perdue, the school record holder in the district, all Metro, scoring of the state. Did Gwen make it? Gwen Smith? Yes? No? Oh, no show. A sprinter, she was on the all-Metro winning mile medley relay team. Veronica Smith, Guatemala. Veronica, stand up please. All-Metro and mile relay team. Mark McDermott, hurdler, sprinter. A relay stud. When Oak Ridge runs fast relays, when Margaret was in school, she was on it. And Jackie Walker, a thrower, scored in both the shot and the distance. Jackie here. At the end of the evening, your commemorative gift is over here. Your name is on it. And so, Isaiah, you better get up here and make sure they don't take more than what they get, right? Only one. But your name is on it. It's over there. All right.
Stamper.
Oh, I gotta step back. Go ahead. I'm against this season.
Responsibilities up here in Maryland keep from being able to travel. 1982 was our second of 3 consecutive state championship teams. I'm sure everyone aware of Oak Ridge track and field history knows the exploits of Janet, Andrea, Margaret, and Michelle, or Jam, as we used to call the 440 relay. But the seniors were a special group for me. We all came in together. The seniors that scored in the state meet were Jackie from Robbinswood, Wanda and Sherry from Westridge, Donna from Walker, and me, straight out of Catalina. Special shout out to Aki, Sam, Willie, and Ernest. My seniors that year, who scored in the state meet, again, were Jackie, who trusted me enough to convert from the long jump to the throws, and she ended up scoring in both throwing events, the shot and the discus in the state meet. Sherry was the first scorer in the state meet in both hurdle events in Oak Ridge girls track and field history. Donna, a half-miler, had a special race in the state meet. Our mile medley relay dropped the baton, and she and Margaret combined to take the team from last to second and gave us 8 crucial points to help us defeat Jacksonville Revolt, our greatest competitor that year. And Wanda was a 2-time state runner-up in the discus, but more importantly, she was a leader. Her leadership qualities displayed themselves later on as an excellent championship coach at Dr. Phillips and an athletic director at Evans. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Veronica and Gwen, who are also in attendance. Congratulations to all the award winners and all the honorees in the Hall of Fame.
This year also marks the 40th anniversary of the 1982 boys track team, a three-peat. There was a picture in Facebook this week, throwback Thursday, one for the thumb. It also marked the second time in 2 years that Oak Ridge won both the boys and the girls state title, same night at Showalter Field. With us tonight, Kevin Anderson, quarter-miler, All-American 1982. Hi, Kevin. Let's go, Bill. When he went to Oak Ridge, he was Bob Andrews. He's now Dr. Robert Andrews, outstanding surgeon from Atlanta, member of the school record 3-mile relay team. We talked about Donnie Bailey, the last of the Bailey brothers, Darryl, Paul Walker, All Metro, champion right here, 1982. A jumper, competed in all 3 events, the triple, long jump, the high jump, Mark Crawford. A sophomore in 1982, middle distance runner, all-state, anchored the winning mile medley relay team, Kenny Franklin, went on to become an All-American in 1984. A thrower on the team, his wife wouldn't let him sit with her tonight, said, "You give it to guys." Alvin Garrett. Alvin, come on, get up. High animated hurdler for us, All-American in 81, consistent point scorer for us, Ken Hall. Military veteran, we thank you for your service. The school record holder in the triple jump still stands today, set in 1983 and 1982, second in the state meet. Used to drive a school bus, my man, Darryl Hill. Come on, Darryl, get it. Another All-American from the 81 team, All-Metro hurdler in 1982 on 2 state championship 440-yard relay teams at mile relay, Eugene Holly. Gerald Jackson, long jumper and sprinter. Stand up, Gerald, because I'm going to talk about you for a minute. Take that hat off, but they can see you now. In 1982, Oak Ridge became the first and is still the only boys track team to win all 3 relays in the same state meet. Gerald was on all 3 of those relays. He is one by himself, right there. High school All-American. He was the school record holder in the long jump. He still is now ranked number 2. There you go. Get me straight, Gerald. Gerald Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Our leadoff runner on the 4x1, Metro District Region and state champion, All-American, came all the way from that great state of North Carolina, unrelated. You all know I live in North Carolina, that's why. A distance runner, he was a senior that year, became an All-American his senior year. Remember the 4x1 mile relay team really helped me getting all these guys together. Michael Miller. Mike. The sprinter for us would run on either the 4x1 or the mile medley relay, Keith Mims. Keith, Eddie. Next individual doesn't need any introduction. Just his name, James Roll. James. Three-time high school All-American for us. First time he ran the 330-yard dash. I can't let him come up here and start telling stories because he lies about me really, really bad. I made a mistake and let him speak at Bill Buckle, the Celebration of Life, and I'm still getting letters about, you did this and you did that to him? Hey. Thanks. Our most decorated distance runner, who was a sophomore on that team, went on to become an All-American 2 years later, John Throwkeller. John. The school record holder in the 3,000 steeple, also on the 3-mile relay team that ran with the guys we've already introduced, Bill Dushinsky. Bill. Our #1 lead vocalist, who was late tonight, we banished him over here. So he'll be close when he comes up to do the finale, which is, how do you say it? Worth the price of admission, right? Sprinter on that team in 1982, Terry Walker. Terry? Middle distance, 800-meter runner, Cedric Wilson. Cedric. A sprinter on that team, related Wilson, one Wilson to another, Robert Wilson. On this picture, on the far left-hand side, the gentleman you see is Early Trailer, the longest serving, go ahead guys, give it to him. The longest serving volunteer at Oak Ridge High School, 26 plus years, inducted into the Hall of Fame posthumously. His son was on 2 state championship teams for us, and his dad used to drive the athletes. And he said, I'd really like to get involved, but I don't want to do it until David graduates. I said, that's fine. 26 years. If we were good in track, that man had a lot to do with it, and the team wanted his son here tonight, David Schwaber. David, there you go. Nineteen 30 years ago, come August, Oak Ridge High School had the first ever. And when you're the first ever, according to T. Spurrier, it's forever and it's for life. The first ever Metro Conference Orlando schoolgirl athlete, gold medalist, 4x1, USA team, Michelle Finn. I said, you're going to see mom you've never seen before, maybe. And she's in the 200 meters on the one, and on the relay, typical USA, we kind of move bump and run, but when it was all said and done, they were the gold medalists. Now, as a reporter would say, there's a sidebar to the story. On the men's team in 1992 was a young man out of Pennsylvania by way of the University of Houston named Leroy Burrell. And I met Leroy before Michelle did. But I can't take credit for that, putting them together. But Leroy became one of our all-time great sprinters. In 1991, he set the world record at 100 meters. In 1992, Carl Lewis, who works, Leroy's got a day job. He's the head track coach at the University of Houston. Carl Lewis is his assistant. Also on that team was Dennis Mitchell from the University of Florida. And leading off was Michael Marsh, who was the 200-meter men's champion that year at Barcelona. They stepped on the track, 1982, world and Olympic record. Her husband. As you look in your program, Michelle knew who to pick out at the Olympics, right? The good-looking guy. That was at the opening ceremony. We had a good time, right? Follow Michael Johnson, because we're going to be on the big screen, and we were. On a little sadder note, the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame has a page in the pamphlet with Bill Buckle, legendary nationally acclaimed sports writer from the Orlando Senate, a personal friend from my hometown, Brooklyn, but a man who has written many positive articles on our athletes. And if you look at the write-up on Bill in the program, Eugene Holley says it the best, that nobody could say Orlando Oak Ridge better than Bill Buckle. And the Hall of Fame contributed to his scholarship fund, and we felt an obligation almost to recognize Bill Buckle for what he meant to a lot of the people sitting in this audience tonight, and that a guy standing up here running his mouth. That's all I can say. Now, we want to end on a high note. In 2017, that was 1981 at the Bob Hayes, first time an out of Jacksonville team won, and Mr. Buckle was with us. The gentleman you see here, in 2017, accepted the Hall of Fame plaque for the Dad's Club. The Dad's Club was formed, when Oak Ridge was formed. They went out, they personal loans, raised the money, built the stadium, put money into it. And in 2017, this gentleman, his name is Frank Plume, his son is a 65 grad. Mr. Plume is here to accept, on behalf of all the dads, that club disbanded sometime in the early 70s. Mr. Plume had a birthday in February, and I think we ought to give him a round of applause and say happy birthday, 99 years young! Yeah. Those of you coming to this Hall of Fame banquet for the first time, you'll notice on the page it has all the speakers and so forth, except for a coach here or there. Everyone else is an Oak Ridge grad. We don't need outside talent. We have all the talent. Yes. Your MC was 1983 grad, it says, two-sport athlete, football and wrestling. He's been our MC since 2015. After the 2019 banquet, we almost lost him. But hard work, the good Lord is back. We don't plan to ever let him not be our MC. Roy Reed. Roy.
Well, on that note, I'm going to take a moment and thank a lot of you out there, because what happened to me was I had what's called an aortic dissection. It means your heart is splitting open and you don't live through something like that. In fact, the surgeon told my nurse that first night that I might have a 5% chance of living. And I got to talk to my friends Alvin and James Roll and others here tonight, all of whom were praying hard. And if not for that prayer and intervention and my friends and family, many of whom are in this room, I wouldn't be here. So I just want to say thank you. And thank you. Okay, and with that, I'm going to invite Elizabeth, I'm going to invite Sherry Jost to join me now. Sherry is going to come up and present the Dr. Leanne Bradshaw Trailblazer Award. And I'm going to also invite Pete Post to come up, because Pete will be our recipient tonight. While Pete's making his way up, I'm going to read a little bit about Pete. The Oak Ridge High School Athletic Hall of Fame is honored to announce Pete Post as the 2022 recipient of the Dr. Leanne Bradshaw Trailblazer Award, presented to the individual who has unselfishly given his or her time and energy to ensure the Athletic Hall of Fame fulfills its mission statement. A 1978 graduate and a 2013 Hall of Fame inductee, Pete has served as president from day one of the creation of the inaugural board of directors, providing the leadership to establish and elevate the profile of the Hall of Fame in the eyes of the Oak Ridge community. Pete was a pioneer. Two sports stand out in football and baseball, highlighted by being named All-Metro Conference first-team quarterback in 1977. He went on to play baseball in the New York Yankees organization for 2 years before starting his coaching career at Oak Ridge in 1983. Moving to Boone in 1994 and under his tutelage until his retirement in 2018, the Braves baseball team won 512 games, making Pete the winningest coach in the history of Boone High School. Pete was instrumental in designing and restoring the signage designating the baseball and softball fields, the Coach Ray Judy baseball field, and the Coach Dragstedt softball field. Pete also oversaw the project to create a photo booth to be used by the attendees at tonight's banquet and at the golf tournament. He recently accepted the responsibility to assist in coordinating the annual Hall of Fame golf tournament. On behalf of the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame, thank you, Pete. Steps are tricky. All right, I'm going to invite two gentlemen to join me on stage right now. I'm going to introduce both of them. John Gardner, who's a class of '99, and also a member of the board of directors and the treasurer, and Michael Driver from the class of '95, who's also on the board of directors as the recording secretary. John will be inducting our members, and Michael will be handing out their designated awards. A little bit of background on these two guys. John is a four-year letterman on both the track and cross-country teams. He ran the mile and the 2 mile and was a point scorer on 1 Metro and 2 district championship track teams. John went on to UCF, go Knights, and lettered 4 years for the Knights. Voted the cross-country team's outstanding freshman, he finished 5th his senior year at UCF, won the Athletic Sun Men's Cross-Country Championship. Within the past year, John has demonstrated his entrepreneurial skills to establish the Gardner Transport LLC, which allows him to work, travel the country, play a lot of golf. In addition, he's assumed the treasurer's responsibility and membership on the Athletic Hall of Fame Board of Directors. He returns for his 7th year as our awards announcer. And then there's Mike Driver. Presenting the awards to this year's inductees will be 1995 Oak Ridge graduate and newly appointed member of the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame Board of Directors, Mike Driver. Having attended numerous athletic events as a young boy with his dad and Hall of Fame member Bill Driver, Mike has long been considered an historian of the Pioneer history. For over 10 years, he's been the social media voice for the Pioneer athletic teams and athletes. At the beginning of each school year, Mike reposts the 2009 Orlando Sentinel article, The Guardian, which replicates the impact the Leonard family has had upon the school's history and the details in naming the football field Lee Leonard Stadium. He has recently been appointed chairman of the newly formed Athletic Booster Club. Please welcome John and Mike for the next part of our meeting.
Thank you, Roy. All right, so our first inductee to the class of 2022, the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame, is Willie Douglas, class of 1976. Wait for your video montage, Willie, and then come on up afterwards. Whether on the football field where he was called the Grinch, or on the basketball court where he is known as Mr. Oak Ridge, the athletic talent and leadership skills exhibited by Willie Douglas gave credence to him being called the most dynamic athlete to wear the green and gold. A three-sport athlete in basketball, football, and track, Willie was the first athlete in school history to be named All-Metro Conference in both his junior and senior years in football and basketball. As a junior, Willie was the starting cornerback and defensive player on the first ever undefeated Metro Conference football championship team in 1974. He concluded his career by having played in a Metro, District, and Region Championship team. And in 1975, he was in the Sentinel Star Bowl Championship team, combining for a 2-year record of 21 wins, 2 losses. A 2-year starter point guard, Willie was the team's MVP and driving force his senior year as he was on the 75-76 Pioneers team to take on the state championship Edgewater Eagles in triple overtime in the district championship game. Willie went on to play at Heritage Christian College, where he was the small college's second leading scorer in the nation as a freshman. Willie and his wife Diane have 4 children, 14 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Willie Douglas, come on down.
First of all, I'd like to give credit to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because if it weren't for him, by his grace and mercy, this wouldn't be possible. All right, I'd like to also thank my teammates. There's a few of them here. But one thing about us, you know, there was no All-American on our team. We played as one. We gave our heart and soul, because we had a coach that wouldn't let no one else talk but him. As you all know who I'm talking about. But he was a good coach though, because he taught us everything what we needed to know. You know, I want to thank him for being there for us. We didn't understand it at the beginning, him being so hard on us. But he did a great job. Thank you, Coach. I'd like to thank the support of my family, my nieces, my nephews, my sisters. I got 2 brothers, I got 2 daughters, I got 3. But I would thank everybody. Nephews, I got a group of them. But I can say is that, you know, the road that I took, it wasn't an easy road. Because nothing like this was in the book for us. It's just the idea that the guys I played with in football and basketball, we played because we loved the game. It wasn't about anything else. So that being said, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the committee.
Mike, give him a spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Willie Douglas. Our next inductee from the class of '95, Mr. Reggie Glover. A two-sport standout in football and track, earning a combined total of 7 varsity letters. Reggie closed out his senior year highlighting his versatility by giving up his individual events to become the first pioneer to run legs on the 4x1, 4x4, and 4x800 meter relays in every meet. A 3-year letterman in football and a starting defensive back as a junior and senior, Reggie, along with his gridiron teammates and now fellow Hall of Fame members, Johnny Love and Danny Smith, powered the Oak Ridge track team to 7 major meet championships, 4 metro, 2 district, and 1 region, plus 2 state championship runner-up finishes in 1994 and 1995. An All-American in addition to earning All-Metro and All-State honors, Reggie was a member of the school record-setting and still #1 all-time 4x400 meter relay and 4x800 meter relay teams. Individually, he ranks #4 in the 400 meter dash, #8 in the 300 meter dash, along with a #10 ranking in the 400 intermediate hurdles. And as a senior, he was named the recipient of the Huey Leonard Coaches Achievement Award. Upon graduation, Reggie received a full scholarship to FSU, where in an injury-shortened career, he earned all ACC honors 3 times. The apple didn't fall far from the tree, as his son ran a nation's leading 46.46 in the 400 meters while attending Dr. Phillips before signing with the University of Georgia. Reggie joins his brother Richard to become the first brothers inducted into the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Reggie Glover.
Thank you guys so much for setting this up, the board, Oak Ridge. This is wonderful. It really takes everybody back. I know it did for me to the good old days of when, we would give our blood, sweat, and tears for the school, for our teammates, and for our coaches. And I just want to, first of all, thank my mother for, like my brother said 3 years ago, for being at every single track meet, bringing us to and from practice, being that team mom for my son as well. My dad for instilling in me that, competition is everything. You got to do your best, leave everything out there. That Glover name is something that, we're going to force others to respect, right? I also want to thank my family for being very supportive, my wife, and our 3 beautiful children that you guys saw a picture of. When I think about my time at Oak Ridge, it's so much that I can remember and relate to, and I do want to give so much credit to Coach Himmer. So I want to tell a quick story. My brother Richard was an excellent track athlete, and he, I would go watch him as a young boy, and I would say, wow, I just want to be like that one day. And I want to thank my brother Richard for being a great example as a student athlete. And in elementary school, that was great. I was pretty fast. I got to middle school, and one of my first track meets, I was running, I was in dead last. I tripped, I fell, my glasses fell off, and I said, no more track for me, right? So 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, no track for me. Went to Oak Ridge High School, 9th grade, and here comes Coach Himmer. Your name's Glover, right? You're running track, right? So you're gonna be out to the track for practice today, right? I'm thinking, nah, that's not my thing. But he was very persistent, and eventually I came out to track. And if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never ran track. I ended up going to FSU, like so many of you others, go Noles, right? But I give him so much credit for really being an instrumental part of my life. when it comes to helping my son, who also, like you guys heard, was a nation leader in the hurdles, in the 400 meters. So even him getting me to run the 800 meters, like I hated the 400. It was a very hard race. But he got me to run 2 laps. I don't know how he did it, but he got me to run an 800. And then on the way to college, he got me to run the 400 hurdles. I don't know how he did it. But now even today, I still talk to him, send him a text, we talk. And if I have questions, that's the guy who I reach out to, like a thesaurus. How can he remember all these stats for all these different things? It's amazing. Great job, Coach Hickman. I don't want to stay too long, but I really appreciate all of you guys for coming out tonight. I want to congratulate all of the other inductees, and it's just been an amazing trip for me. And when I think back, it's so much that I can be proud of and be happy for going to Oak Ridge. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Reggie Glover. Our next inductee from the class of 2002, Mr. Jonte Griffin. One of the all-time great athletes in Pioneer history, highlighted by his being named Male Athlete of the Year in junior years. Jonte was a 4-year letterman in track, a 3-year letterman in basketball, and in addition to his athletic prowess, Jonte graduated with a 3.4 GPA. As a senior, he was the 10th best scorer in the Metro with 18 points per game as he led the team to the state Final Four, capturing the district and region championships along the way. He also made the all-tournament team and was the slam dunk champ at the 2002 Senior Showcase. In his final year of track competition, Jonte went on to the top of the podium with the first place honors in the triple jump at the Metro, District, and Region Championships to go with his 3rd place medal at the state meet. Having received the Dr. Parsons Most Improved Athlete Award in his sophomore year and then again in his senior season, he is still ranked number 3 in the triple jump and number 12 in the long jump all time in Pioneer track history. He originally signed with Florida A&M, where he earned all MEAC honors in the triple jump, contributing to 3 conference championships. After transferring to FSU, he was a 4-time All-ACC performer in the long jump, triple jump, and 100 meters, as well as being a member of the first ever outdoor national championship team in 2006. Recently married in 2017, Jonte and his wife Nicole live in Smyrna, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonte Griffin.
So, my friend Caesar, he told me before I came to the podium that I should write out my speech. Hey Caesar, I think it's an index card in front of you. Make sure I stay true to my initial thoughts. There was one aspect about being up here that he was right about. The nerves are starting to settle in. Standing here before such a rich crowd of athletic talent and having the 1980s back-to-back state championship teams is definitely a humbling experience. C's, I think I'm getting a little nervous. Can you tell me what the first bullet is? But I want to first start by giving thanks to God for giving me the talent and the ability to be able to compete successfully in multi-sports. I also want to thank my beautiful aunt, Margaret Harris, who laid out a framework of what athletic success would look like at Oak Ridge High School. I want to give a special thanks to my backbone. When I was in school, most people called her Granny, my grandmother. She has played an instrumental role in laying a strong foundation to help me reach academic and athletic success beyond Oak Ridge. Words will never explain or describe the importance that you have played in my life. So I guess we can start by talking about my athletic career here at Oak Ridge. We'll start with basketball. I grew up as a basketball fanatic. I first started playing basketball organized in the 4th grade. Playing at such an early age gave me a great understanding of the game and helped me build some amazing fundamentals. These elements would help me to be excellent basketball player. The 4 years I spent a part of this basketball program came with a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Some of the people that are in the crowd that were a part of those teams, they know about those interesting lows that we saw. But I'll be remiss if I didn't mention that it also built a lot of strong bonds. There are individuals that were a part of those teams that I look at as family even today. While at Oak Ridge, the thing that I used to hear most about my talent when I was playing basketball was I was a person that could jump out of the gym. It wouldn't be until my sophomore year that I got my first dunk, despite the fact that I had been dunking since 8th grade. I still remember this game. We were playing against Dr. Phillips High School. I was on a fast break, and we were probably down in the game, probably 15 points. There was a kid that was hustling back, and he was trying to steal my moral victory from the game. So I hadn't decided in my mind if I was going to actually dunk the ball. But as I was going down, and I seen the speed that he was hustling back with to stop, I decided then that I was going to dunk. So this guy would become the first person that I put on a poster, or as people know, dunked on, and it would be many more that would follow while I donned the green and gold. It's always challenging, or the biggest challenge that I seen when I was in school was being a multi-sport athlete. This challenge would be something that I wrestled with the first 3 years of participating in basketball and track when I was at Oak Ridge. It was a lot of times that I was physically on the team, but I was mentally dreaming about being in an air-conditioned gym. I would always be waiting on AAU basketball or the start of a new basketball season. Despite these mental hurdles, I was still able to sketch out a good career in track and field. My senior year was packed with some interesting stories. Going to state for the first time at the state championship meet, coming down with food poisoning, sitting underneath the tree, where my warm-up consisted of laying and drinking water. I was still able to pull off a PR at this meet, but the most interesting meet would be my regional championship meet. At this meet, Coach Hawkins, the coach at the time who was in the crowd, he was very instrumental in trying to find ways to keep me challenged throughout my track season, or my senior year. So he was always finding little things to nudge me, to get me to actually stay locked in. At this particular meet, he told me how the Cypress Creek coach had said that everybody that was there warming up was actually warming up for second place. That the jumper at Cypress Creek was going to take one jump, sit down, and watch everybody else compete for second. I couldn't even finish my warm-up. I was so upset at the fact that somebody really thought that they were going to come out and take one jump and just watch everybody jump for second. So I remember getting on the runway, and this first jump, I gave it everything that I had coming down that runway. And when I landed in the sand, I hear the umpire yell out, 47 feet, 1 inch. That was a PR for me. And when I was walking back to the warm-up area, I hear coaches now start to murmur about that jump doesn't count. I had earrings in. So I had to sit that whole regional track meet hoping that I didn't get disqualified from the entire meet. So honestly, when Coach Hawk was using that to push me, his prediction about what the Cypress Creek coach said, if he actually did say it, was true, but the circumstances were a lot different. I actually won that meet, and I only jumped one time. I want to thank you guys for this time, and I definitely appreciate being in the Hall of Fame.
class of 1991, Mr. Eric Hawkins. A two-sport standout in football and track during his 3 years at Oak Ridge, Eric would one day return as an assistant coach in football and also as an assistant and eventually the head coach in track. One of his former athletes, Jonte, has just preceded him in being inducted into the Hall of Fame here tonight. During his playing days, Eric was a 2-year letterman in football, earning the MVP on the JV team as a sophomore. And then he was the starting QB his senior year and received the Burger King Coaches Achievement Award. A 3-year letterman in track, Eric was one of the stalwarts in leading the 91 team to the Metro and District Championships after the team's 2-year hiatus. In winning both the 110 high hurdles and the 300 intermediate hurdles, Eric earned all Metro Conference honors and the distinction of being one of 3 pioneers to win both the hurdle races in the Metro Conference Championship. Eric was also the recipient of the 1991 Dr. Robert Parsons Most Improved Athlete Award. Upon graduation, Eric accepted a football scholarship to Florida A&M. Manning multiple positions including quarterback and defensive back, Eric played an integral role in the 1995 Rattler MEAC Championship team. On a personal note, at the time in need, Eric stepped forward to become an organ donor, giving one of his kidneys to his mother. He and his wife, Tanisha, have a daughter at UCF majoring in business and a son on the Windermere High School track team, competing in, you guessed it folks, both the high and intermediate hurdles. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Hawkins.
Good evening, folks. I see my Bobby Brown. I'm a major fan of Bobby Brown. Oh, and I can dance too. But anyway, just want to give thanks to God, obviously, for this moment, and especially for us to make it through this COVID situation that we're in right now. Thank God for that. But I just want to talk about the night that I got the call from Coach Hickman and Caesar when they mentioned to me that I was a nominee again for the Hall of Fame. I would have said, okay, I'm not getting my hopes up high. Maybe it'll happen this time, maybe it won't. But when I got the second call, they said I made it. I said, what are you talking about, Willis? I did not believe it. But I just want to say, in seriousness, when I got that call, I thought about, not myself, I thought about my family, my mother, my father, who was there for me my whole life, and they're here spiritually, not physically at this point, but more importantly, my extended family. What I mean by that is all the wonderful teachers, the administrators, the coaches that was in my life throughout my history, because there is no Hall of Fame without them. There is no Hall of Fame without the team, because these individuals treated me like a human. They didn't treat me like an athlete, someone who just can jump high, run fast, or throw the ball far. They treated me like someone, like their own kid. And I appreciate each and every one of those people in this room. I want to send a special shout out to Coach Hickman and Coach Farrell. Remember the legends? We went 5-0 as a freshman team. I learned a lot from these guys. I wish Coach Farrell was here tonight. But I also want to give a special shout out to Coach Jackson as well, because he taught me a lot on that team that we won that 1 year we were 82. But if it wasn't for Coach Rob Montgomery, where you at, Bobby? Where you at, Rob? That guy saw me at ELC when I first got back from college. If it wasn't for him telling Coach Hickman I was in town, I would never have been back at Oak Ridge. So I want to give a special shout out to you, Coach Rob, for that. But also when I talk about Coach Leonard and Coach Lennon office, Coach Pete Pulse, that was my quarterback coach. I thank you for the tutelage and everything you did. And any other person that I missed in the room, I'm sorry for that. But what you said, Jonte, it was halfway true. But the Cypress Creek situation was not true, but great individual, great man. But most importantly, I want to thank my wife,
My wife, my beautiful wife, Tanisa Hawk, is right there. And such a beautiful woman. Without her, I would not be here. That is my backbone, my love, my warrior, my everything. And my beautiful kids, I love you too. So I want to thank you again, everybody, for this humbling experience, because I'm telling you, it's a lot of distinguished people here and great athletes, and I'm humbled to be in this position. And I thank God once again. Thank you.
Eric Hawkins, everybody. Our next inductee from the class of 1977, Miss Elizabeth Peanut Hickman. Elizabeth Hickman, known as Peanut to her teammates and classmates, was a pioneer in the true meaning of the word regarding the explosion of girls' participation in high school sports and the adding of team competition in Orange County Public Schools. In the 1974-75 school year, Liz, as a 10th grader, was an emerging all-star on the first ever girls basketball and slow pitch softball teams in school history. In addition to her individual athletic honors and achievements, she also answered the call of her basketball coach, Miss Pat Sack, to serve as team manager on the first ever girls volleyball team. In the first year of Metro competition, Liz was the starting point guard on the 75 team, which was undefeated 12-0 in the Metro Conference and the Metro Conference Championship team. Throughout her stellar 3-year career, she was one of the top scorers in the conference and went on to earn all Metro honors. Switching gears now to softball and playing for Hall of Fame coach Carl Dragstedt, Liz was a 3-year starter at shortstop, earning all Metro honors. In 1977, her senior year, Liz led the Pioneers to the school's first ever district and region softball championships and was selected the team's MVP. A member of the National Honor Society, Liz earned a law degree from the University of Florida and practiced law for 25 years. She returned to school earning a nursing degree and went on to teach nursing for 5 years. Let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Miss Elizabeth Hickman.
Hi, Pioneers. How are you? I know it's been a long night. I'll try to keep it short, no pun intended. I want to thank God first and foremost as well, for without Him, nothing is possible. I want to thank my family for their support all these years. My 2 brothers, Richard and Edward, are here with me tonight, and I reach out to them and thank them for all their support. My mother, who is in spirit with us today, that we lost not too long ago. So I know she would be very proud. I know she's looking down. To my friends for their support, also to my classmates, 2 high school sweethearts who are here tonight in support, Shawn and Lisa Smith. Hello, thank you. Shawn was also on the basketball team, men's basketball team back there. Also Rob Montgomery back from the day as well. Shout out to them. They mentioned me playing with Coach Dragstedt and Coach Sack, but I also have to make a special shout out to Coach Burke, because Coach Burke was also the softball coach and basketball coach that I played under for most of my career at Oak Ridge, and she's here tonight as well. So please, thank you, Coach Burke, for being the great coach that you were, the great mentor that you were for a lot of the life lessons that we had. I know many of you athletes out here understand that the things that we learn, that we carry, are the life skills that we learn on sports. You know, how to be true leaders, how to get along with people. Diversity is everything. You put all those differences aside and you have one goal, to win that basketball game, right? To take that trophy home. And we all played together as one. And many people have said that up here tonight, and I just want to repeat that, how important it is. Because without all of those team members, I wouldn't be standing here tonight. And without those great coaches and support of our family and friends, I also wouldn't be here. So thank you all very, very much for that. To the Hall of Fame committee members, Coach Hammer, and all of you who I may not know by name, I thank you as well for bestowing me with this really humbling honor. I couldn't be more proud to be a Pioneer right now. Congratulations to all the other inductees. Special shout out to Willie Douglas from the class, as I was there being the point guard on the girls team and Willie on the guys team. And let me tell you something, nowadays everybody can dunk a basketball, but not back in the 1970s. And look at Willie. Willie, I say this with love because I know you were what? Not 6 feet tall, right? That man could dunk a basketball. Could dunk a basketball. I couldn't get a running start from halfway down the gym and touch the bottom of the net. And this man could dunk it. So I had the utmost respect for you, Willie, and I'm so glad to be in the same class with you, sir. Absolute privilege. Also to Mr. Spoon, who I was very sad to hear recently passed away, and I was so looking forward to being able to see him. What a great man he was. Many of you, hopefully, here tonight knew Mr. Spoon, and I think he was just a Pioneer through and through, even though he left us to go to some of those other schools we will not mention the name of, because Oak Ridge is really the best school, so the rest of them don't matter, right? Okay, so special shout out to Mr. Spoon. He was always there for us, always so positive. His energy was always so positive, and he was everywhere. Do you all remember? Do y'all remember that? There'd be a basketball game at 4 in the afternoon with the JV team, and he'd be back there at 9 o'clock with the other guys playing, and then the girls, and he'd be running across town. He went to all these different sporting events, and one night, I don't know how he stayed married. I mean, his wife probably just never saw him. So, special shout out. We love you, Mr. Spoon, and we miss you. And last but not least, my nickname, Peanut. I want a special shout out to one of the inductees from, I believe it was the class of 2014, Sim Bruton. Anybody here know Sim? Great basketball player, Sim Bruton. Well, I almost didn't play basketball at Oak Ridge or softball. We had just relocated here from Texas, and I didn't know anybody. And believe it or not, I was pretty shy back then. And I almost didn't try out. But my family, my friends all encouraged me to do it. So I said, okay, I'll just go and give it a shot. It was the last day of tryouts. They threw the ball to me and they're like, okay, let's see what you can do on a fast, break this full court press. And I just went, yeah, all right. And I just dribbled the ball all the way down the court and did a layup. And all I heard after that was, dang, that little girl can play some basketball. And then I heard something like, pee-wee, peanut, something. And Coach Sack at the time was saying like, pee-wee. And I heard Sim Bruton right away say, I didn't say pee-wee, I said peanut. And that's how I got my nickname. And to this day, there are people who don't know my name, but they know that Peanut, if you say Peanut, they'll be like, oh my God, you're Peanut? Oh man, do you still play basketball? And I was like, well, no, I gotta tell you, I got a few years on me now, no. But I said I couldn't even hit the rim probably today if I tried. But so it was really an honor that you don't realize the effect that you have on people, and they'll come to you years later and they'll say, oh, I took my kid to watch you play, or my grandchild to watch, well, yeah, grandchild at my age, right? Some of you are like, I have t-shirts. I have t-shirts older than some of you out here. But anyway, so I digress. I just wanted to share that my nickname has lasted for 45 years and going. And my oldest brother, David, has not called me by my name since 1974. He has called me Peanut and continues to call me Peanut or Nut. And he never has called me Liz since 1974. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to just say, last but not least, I can't accept this award as an individual. I accept this award on behalf of all the team players that I played with. I was so privileged and honored to play with Sim Bruton, especially, who gave me my nickname that will last for quite a while. And then I want to accept on behalf of that core 7 that I really, really hope to see some of them up here in the very near future, because they deserve it. That first undefeated team, you just don't know what that was like to be on the first basketball team as women, number 1, and then to go undefeated, and undefeated by leaps and bounds. There were nobody. We won, Coach Burt, most of our games we won were by 30 points or more. You know, we just really played well. So I accept on behalf of Sim Bruton and Debbie Perry and Debbie Bryan, Renee Walker, Vera Brown, Amy Harrison, and Kathy Graham, and the rest of the gang. I thank you so much. I'm so honored to be up here and be inducted with all of the rest of you. Thank you.
Let's give it over to Vito, everybody. Our last inductee into the class of 2022 from the class of 1981, Mr. Vincent Smith. An outstanding dual sport athlete, Vincent earned 6 varsity letters, 3 each in football and track. An immovable force in football as a 5'11", 225-pound defensive back with a sprinter's speed. Vincent was named All-Metro Conference both his junior and senior years. It was also his size and speed that allowed James Roll in the spring of 1980 to call him Heavy as his nickname, as the remainder throughout his Pioneer career. On the track, Vincent earned All-American honors along with being a 2-time member of the All-Metro Conference and All-Central Florida track and field teams. In addition to being a member of the 1980 and 1981 back-to-back state championship teams, Vincent was also a point scorer and a member of the winning 4x100 meter relay on back-to-back Metro, District, and Region championship teams. In 1981, Vincent ran the leadoff leg on the school record-setting mile medley relay, which finished and ranked 3rd in the nation and number 1 in Florida. Upon graduation, Vincent signed a football scholarship at Edinburgh University, moving into a career in law enforcement, where Vincent began competing in powerlifting and was a 5-time law enforcement and Olympic champion in the unlimited class. In 2007, he competed professionally at the state, national, and world championships. Vincent is married to Deborah Spear, who was an outstanding track athlete in her days at Oak Ridge and a member of the 1981 Girls State Track Championship team. They have 5 children and 10 grandchildren. The national track community may consider Michelle and Leroy as the first family of track and field, but for tonight, the Oak Ridge Athletic Hall of Fame considers Vincent and Deborah the first family of Pioneer track and field. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vincent Smith.
I'll just step by it. I got like a brain thing. I want to give honor to God who's first in my life. All the support, my family, everyone that's here. Now that I look over the room, I saw some people I didn't even get to speak to. How y'all doing? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I was told now, I am a clown. I do goof off, but somebody told me I'm not allowed to clown. And those that do know me, I'm very emotional. So I'm gonna try to hold the emotion back and, give what I got. But as I stand here, on behalf of my mother, Miss Smith, she's 90, she just turned 90. With her keeping a roof over my head and food on the table as a single parent of a 15-year-old. And back then, you could get into everything. And what she don't know, she had a lot of help. She had a lot of help. Coach Stamron, Coach Farrelly, Coach Emmer, I can remember once, I had so much power just moving and doing everything. Coach pulled me in the office and said, man, you ain't gonna go nowhere, your grades, what's going on with you? Of course, he said that. I go back out and run my best time I ever ran in the 100 and make sure I can stay on the team. With all that being said, my family, my lovely wife, Deborah, we just celebrated our 30th year of marriage. But again, to the board, the other inductees, I want to thank you. I appreciate this time, and let's have a good time. Go Pioneers!
Let's give a big round of applause to all of our inductees. Before I introduce our next speaker, just a few notes of interest. First of all, those of you again in the class of 1982 that have awards, please do remember to pick them up before you leave tonight. Notice that there is a promotion for the golf tournament. As Coach said, that is what funds this effort. We welcome everyone to participate in the event. It's a lot of fun. I'll have my dad and two of my boys out there May 28th. And then also there's information on contributing to the Bill and Pat Spoon Scholarship. As we heard earlier tonight, Mr. Spoon, who is also my principal and a great board member for Orange County and other things, just left a huge legacy and impacted so many of us. So take time to read about what's there and what you can do to support that. And with that, I'm going to invite Benjamin Alvarado, who is currently Oak Ridge High School's principal, up to share a few words with us.
Good evening. First, I'd like to congratulate tonight's inductees. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Board of Directors for inviting me to close out tonight's evening. As we sit here and we celebrate our pride in Oak Ridge for the accomplishments and impact we've all had on Oak Ridge, I want to call to action that our support not end here tonight. As we share stories and memories from the past that connect us as pioneers, that we create new memories that will connect us with future pioneers. As a pioneer who graduated 21 years ago, I take great pride in having been selected to lead our great school. As I lead through this next chapter, a chapter where our pioneers will define the future of our community, the greatness of our school has not been built by one person, but by the passion of those who have walked its halls, created new paths, and seized the moment, not knowing its future, but knowing its potential. For those of us that are local, I urge you to continue to support our community by being present. I hope to see you all. For those of you that are far, I challenge you to stay connected to the pride and tradition of Oak Ridge High School. As the proud principal, I hope to see you at sporting events, academic competitions, and performances in supporting our pioneers that are bound for glory. Congratulations to the inductees. Thank you and good night.
Well, as we close tonight, I'm going to invite my friend Terry Walker to come up on stage. Terry is a 1982 graduate, lettered in football, was a member of the 1982 Boys Track State Championship team. He went on to further his education at Valencia, then at Florida Technical College. In 1983, he began his journey in the music industry as a musician playing and traveling throughout the country. In 1989, he became one of the original members of the R&B group Vocal. Vocal became nationally known act and won numerous awards. The group has performed with big-name artists locally and nationally, including performances at the Orlando Magic Games. Terry is a national gospel artist, producer for LBS, led by the Spirit, a national acclaimed group, producing for local artists as well as nationally known Honey Walker and the Golden Heirs. He is currently a member of the ministerial staff at St. Mark AME Church of Orlando. Terry is married to 1980 Pioneer grad Norma Brown Walker, who ran track and was also a cheerleader. It's Terry's 5th year as the vocalist for the Hall of Fame induction banquet. And when I turn it over to him, he's going to share a couple of songs with us. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I want to thank all of you that support this and stay involved with this, and recognize all of the honorees tonight. So without further ado, Terry.
Go Pioneers. Hey, listen, I'm gonna say this. It's an honor. It's always an honor to come and be involved in this great occasion. I'll apologize publicly. I had another big event that I left out of town, and as soon as I'm finished singing, I have to go back. So, Coach M, I did it for you, because I know if I didn't do it for you, I wouldn't hear the last of it. I just know it. Me and Coach M had a conversation, and based on everything that we've all been through the last 2 years, you know, I really believe that God has taught us something. He's taught us how important it is to be with family. And he also taught us how we can love each other more. And Coach M was going to help me. No, I'm just playing with you, Coach. He's going to sing a song. There's a song I'm going to sing, and I believe it's real touching to all that we've been through. I'm doing a short version. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God. Brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this moment be right now. With every breath I take, this will be my solemn vows. Take each moment, let each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Everybody stand. Same old song we gonna lose. I know everybody knows God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. This is the moment we all chip in on. back of your programs. We go Thank you. Everybody, you got it? Everybody has it. Especially my 82 brothers back there. Yes, sir. Right? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Catch up on some time. Y'all ready? You at it? Thank you. Y'all ready?